All right. Well, Craig says he's recording. I trust him.
He did a good job last time, so good job, Craig.
Yeah. Good job, Craig. So this will be our second ever remote one.
Yep.
It
No.
is and you and I's second ever train episode.
Oh, that's right, huh?
Yep.
Yep.
So we're either talking about trains or remote in the last few times we've talked, but this time it's both. So it's, 2-for-1 special kind of thing.
Yeah. You have to change the name of the podcast to Late to the Trains.
Late to the trains. You don't want to be late. I mean, actually, you could have been late to this train. I don't know if you necessarily would have worked out better or worse. It seems like the odds are pretty much against you whether or not you're on this train in
That's
South
true.
Korea.
Depends what train car you're in.
Yeah, yeah. And honestly, the conductor was fine. He could have just chilled. I don't know. I feel like he made some mistakes. But
Oh yeah.
he got screwed. He was getting out of there, man. He went back for the guy who sucks.
He went the worst character in the history of movies.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll get into it. First off though. As you know, I don't know how to start the podcast. So it'll either be something like whatever. I mean, this keeps happening where we just start talking about the movie, and that's fine. Or something along the lines of "Welcome to Late to Movies." My name's Ben Holden. This is a podcast where my friends and I get to fill in our movie blind spots. Each week we'll pick a film that either I or a guest hadn't seen before and really should have by now. This week, continuing and unfortunately finishing off Spooky Subtitles Month, the whole month where we've been looking at non-English horror movies, getting in a lot of recent classics too. So that's been really fun. This week is, I want to say 2016's Train to Busan. It wasn't planned this way, but this is our third of 5 movies from South Korea. So, just kind of works out that way. I'm at the mercy of what people want to do. And by at the mercy, I mean, like, I want to do what people want to do. And this is hobby level stuff. So whatever sounds fun is what we do. So there's 3 South Korean movies this month. It is what it is.
You had good suggestions.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so too. I know you've been checking out some of the episodes also. Mm-hmm. And you listened at least to the other one we did on zombies. This one will be another zombie one. But before, I should probably introduce you also. Anthony's here. Hey, Anthony.
Aloha, Ben.
The first time they showed her singing that, I didn't know what song it was. And then once it got to the chorus in the final bit there, I was like, oh, I know this one.
Yeah, I was kind of placing it in my head because you understand the melody, but I don't know the words to that song. I don't think anybody does.
No. I could do the chorus maybe, but that's
right.
About it. Aloha, A. Anthony, have you watched anything good recently? I know your last couple times on, you've talked about Five Nights at Freddy's. It is out now. You did already tell me you haven't seen it yet, but that's got to be on the radar.
But if for those listening in listening land, if you haven't caught Five Nights at Freddy's and you want to see something just like it, Willy's Wonderland, highly recommend. Is the exact same movie featuring Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, that is a nice. I mean, yeah, it's a good draw.
It's so good. It's really, really good. I highly, highly recommend it.
I know we've talked about this before, and I mentioned that one of the channels that I follow-ish on YouTube that made me sound. This is like the lamest thing we've ever said, but still, they talked about it a little bit, and I think they said does he not have like any lines in it? Basically, Nick Cage.
He doesn't say one word. He just drinks anything.
Nice.
And not like in nonstop. I don't know, but I think the serial killers are a little different.
Gotcha. Well, cool.
But other than that, I've been watching this great show on Amazon Prime. No, Netflix called Lupin. Lupin.
Okay. Yeah. Lupin is one of France's enduring characters. There's been like a billion different kinds of Lupins, but I know the newer one people like because he's like young or whatever.
Oh, it's phenomenal. The lead actor there, I should have wrote his name down, but I didn't. He's excellent, and it's kind of like a cross between Pink Panther meets James Bond meets Robin Hood.
Oh, nice.
Because he's kind of like a thief, but he might have stole things. He might have had like a checkered past, but now he only steals things for good, and he like exposes corruption, but in a very clever way. It's he's excellent. It's an excellent film. The plot lines are really good. The story really flows. Highly recommend. Netflix.
Nice. I haven't seen that newer loop, and my sister's watched it. I know she got really into it. Um, this is sort of, I guess, advanced read or further reading kind of stuff, but there's kind of a version of Lupin. It's Lupin the Third or whatever was the manga, and Hayao Miyazaki pre Studio Ghibli made a Lupin the Third movie that people really like. I think it's from like the late '70s,
Oh, nice,
but
nice.
real early career of Miyazaki,
Yeah.
and people dig it. So there we go. That's
I'll
my
have to
Lupin
check that out.
contribution.
Yeah. If it's anything like the old Hercule Poirot movies, then
Mm,
I'll have to check that out from like this, the one like Midnight, Murder on the Orient Express that we talked about
yeah,
from the 70s. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, it's trains. You can do a lot of different things with trains. I think we've been on both. We've kind of run the gamut as far as like a suspenseful movie on a train goes. This one, despite how much stabbing there was eventually in Murder on the Orient Express, this one a little bit more violence,
This is just a bit.
just a tad. I haven't really watched anything since the last time you and I talked, or since the last time I talked to this podcast.
Nothing.
So I'm happy to just get into the movie if you're ready.
You didn't go see Taylor Swift, her movie?
I did not. I
No,
know a lot of people who have.
I thought about it, but then I said, nah.
Nah, you shook off that notion.
I shook it off. Nice.
Thank you. It was there. There was probably a lot of other puns you could make too, and low hanging fruit is my favorite flavor. So,
Wait,
um,
did you do a podcast episode on Snowpiercer?
never have. We've done a couple of bongs, but not Snowpiercer.
No, okay. I was just, because I was thinking of trains.
Yeah,
I wasn't thinking if you did that one.
yeah, that one is kind of a hybrid too because it's not. I mean, it's Bong Joon Ho directed, but it's obviously starring mostly Americans.
Yeah,
So,
right.
kind of a blend of the South Korean and American train
Right.
genre,
No,
of which
and
there are so many now.
one last thing on Spooky Subtitle Month. I'm still a little upset
Yeah.
that you didn't pick Nosferatu, even though it's a silent film, but it is made in Germany, and I know it doesn't technically qualify, but I think that is the horror movie of all horror movies. I think we should have
I
did it.
I love Nosferatu. It was tough though because it's non-English horror and it's not technically non-English because the only versions you can get here are in English because the
Okay.
only language is the intertitles and they're in
Right.
English. So I don't know.
Yep.
Uh,
No,
I'm-
you gotta be. I like your true to form.
yeah, exactly. But Nosferatu is great. You should check it out. It's just on YouTube because it's been in the public domain. Either this year or last year was its 100th anniversary. So it's out there. It's available. The Jane Pickens Theater in Newport sometimes does silent movies with a live accompaniment from an organist or a piano. I think this year for Halloween they're doing the classic Phantom of the Opera, the black and white one. That might be Alon Chaney. I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Oh, nice.
But I think they've done Nosferatu before also.
I think the PPAC is doing Phantom of the Opera, or just playing the movie, but with a live orchestra.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool stuff. There's some of the imagery in those old movies is so cool. The pacing is really slow, but it's okay because it looks awesome.
I agree.
And yeah, there's another. We definitely have talked about it before, but the Robert Eggers version will be out with one of the Skarsgårds and Nicholas Holt, maybe, and Lily Rose Depp. I want to say.
Yeah. Yep. We talked about this last time. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, yeah. We're just always thinking about these same things, I guess.
No, I agree. I agree. We have similar tastes in film, I think.
Yeah, 100%. I always get his name wrong too. So let me double check that his name's actually Robert. I always want to say David. No, it
Oh,
is Robert. Okay, I got it right this time. I should have just trusted my instincts.
he did The Lighthouse and The Witch.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes. And Northman. He's one
Northman.
of
Yeah.
three guys that always get thrown together who are horror or horror adjacent that have all made three movies, and it's constantly like a meme or well, I guess more viral sort of prompt on social media is like, who you got out of Eggers, Jordan Peele, and Ari Aster, because they've all made three movies. They're all like younger dudes in the horror world or whatever. They're all
Yeah,
so
yeah.
different though, so it's a dumb question. I kind of like all the movies, so
Oh
but
wait,
it's weird to be Jordan Peele for me though.
I don't know. I really like The Lighthouse, but I think
Yeah.
yeah, probably Get Out and Nope, and probably a little bit better than those.
Yeah. Yeah. I really like Ari Aster too.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
I mean I like Bo's Afraid, but I'm either in the minority or I don't know. That movie's uh a leathery chew. It's weird.
No, I read about it. I haven't seen it yet, but I just heard it's just an insane film.
Yeah, it's really like you think they're going to do something like maybe he's building up to something profound and then he just chooses like the stupidest thing on purpose multiple times.
Yeah.
Um and I don't know, it worked for me. I can understand why some people might think that it is intentionally just trying to piss them off and like treating you like you're stupid or for even wanting to see this movie.
Right. Right.
So hard to recommend, but I liked it. And there you go.
Um,
That's just like generally movies that have come out in the last 8 months or so.
I got one more for you real quick.
All right.
But I didn't finish it yet, but we plan on finishing it soon. Haunted Mansion, which I thought was excellent.
Oh, really? I never saw it. Didn't check it out. It came out over the summer, which wasn't the right timing in my head.
Yeah, yeah, right. But it came out, it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, that part makes sense. That it's now on Disney Plus. So maybe that's what they're aiming for the whole time, I guess. But huh.
I play a lot of I played a lot of Counter-Strike, and one of the Counter-Strike maps is Haunts, and it's based on the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland.
Oh,
So
that's fun.
I've never been on the actual ride. I've been to Disneyland, but I know what the Haunted Mansion is, obviously. But I playing a lot of Counter-Strike. It was just very funny to watch the movie. They do a good job.
Cool. I never got into Counter Strike, but I love that ride. It's probably my favorite ride. Cool. There's ghosts. Love that shit. It's all good.
Ghost, the room stretch,
Yeah.
but I think it has a pretty good story to it. Disney
Yeah.
did a good job. Yeah, yeah.
All right, I'll check that out probably. Just at different parties I've been to for Halloween recently, Nightmare Before Christmas has been on in the background twice, so I kind of have watched that twice recently.
Oh,
It's still
that's
good.
the most overrated Halloween movie of all time.
Really
Yeah.
interesting. I was going to say it's back in theaters now. You can go check it out on the big screen.
Hot
But
take. You heard it here first, folks. Worst, no, overrated Halloween movie all time.
interesting. Is that just because you think it's a better Christmas movie, or?
No, I get what they're going for. I just never ever liked it. And I know people it's like has like a cult status and people love it and they base their whole lives around it. It just never appealed to me. So I just have that hot take.
That's a pretty hot take. People really like that movie.
No, I know. I'm sure it's great. Just not for me.
All right, hey, fair enough. All right, so let's talk about Train to Busan.
Zombies.
Zombies. These ones are fast. I do want to ask you how you feel about fast zombies, but first off, I guess the little disclosure form here. I hadn't ever sat down and watched this movie. I feel like a lot of the set pieces, maybe clips and stuff, but there was some stuff in there that was a surprise also. So I'm counting it as I hadn't seen this movie before. How about you?
I've never seen this movie either. I've seen a bunch of I don't know clips. I've seen the preview for it maybe 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Uh, as I scroll through Netflix or Amazon, it always pops up, but I've never actually sat down and watch it.
Yeah. It's 2016 release, and I feel like pretty much since then it's been really, really available. Obviously it was a big deal when it came out. It premiered at Cannes. It was set a record of over the first Korean film of 2016 to break the audience record of over 10 million theater goers. Yeah, I'm reading off of a fact sheet, sure, but it's still interesting. Anyway, All that to
That's
say, it's a big deal, and it feels like even though it is a South Korean movie, not from a director that's won Best Director and Best Picture at the Oscars like Bong Joon Ho. I feel like this is always on either Netflix or Amazon or Paramount, or like it's really really gettable. Um, People like this movie, I guess, would be the short version of saying it.
yeah, zombies. Zombies always have an appeal.
Zombies.
I feel
Yeah,
like I was kind of over the zombie trend with Walking Dead that just went on and on and on and on and on forever. And I know that they were real hot at one point, and this is
yeah.
right in that wheelhouse. But yeah, no, I thought it was a great film.
I liked it a lot too. You want to do a 1 minute plot summary?
No, well, I don't know. Do you want to do it?
I can if you want. I just know
Yeah,
sometimes you really get geared up for it, so I don't want to
yeah,
deprive you
yeah.
of
No,
that.
this one, I'm not. I didn't. I usually like to have something written out. I know that sounds pretty dumb, but I don't know. Man, you're the host, and you deserve the honors once in a while.
All right, cool. All right. I'm looking at the clock now, so I'm gonna try and time myself. A fund manager, workaholic, divorced father is disappointing his daughter yet again. He gives her a Wii U, which is bad enough, but she already has a Wii U. She got it on Children's Day, and they just don't have a great relationship. She wants to go hang out with her mom on her birthday, which is tomorrow. He reluctantly takes her on a train to go see her mom. Um, well, pretty much simultaneous with them getting on the train, there's reports of this violence, these what seem like workers' strikes at first, but becomes very obvious as just sort of like this violent outbreak. Pretty much immediately once they get on the train, it's happening. It's almost a Titanic-like situation because it's just sort of the people in one section of the train that know, hey, there's been a zombie apocalypse and there's zombies on the train. It eventually spreads, and most of the people get zombified. Our heroes, which ends up being a group of about 4 or 5 people, try to make their way to the front of the train. Then they're trying to get to Busan. This workaholic knows some insider information that the military is holed up in Busan, and if they get there, they might be safe. But they're not sure, and they just take that train and they try and get to Busan, and that's pretty much it.
This is Resident Evil. This movie is Resident Evil, right? I mean, is the company Umbrella? That's what I was thinking this whole time. Is this Umbrella?
It's really vague because you get to that first scene where it just seems like it's exposition or whatever, and our kind of hero, kind of squarely, sort of slimy, maybe sort of absentee dad guy, is telling a subordinate like, just get rid of all of that, get rid of all those shares or whatever. It just sounds like business-ish exposition to make you be like, oh, this guy sucks. And the subordinate's like, oh, if we do that, all this bad stuff will happen. And he's like, just do it. And then he does it. And then it turns out later that might have been what caused the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, but he's just selling. He's just telling them to sell all the shares. Does he know? I guess like a question is, does he know that there's a chemical outbreak ready to happen?
Yeah,
I don't know. It's
unclear.
it's unclear to me.
Yeah. And the zombies in this one, they're fast. How do you feel about fast zombies
I
versus
don't. I
slow
don't like it.
zombies?
I
You
honestly
don't
don't like it.
really interesting.
Yeah. How can a zombie be fast? It makes no sense.
So I think there was before this example, obviously Fast Zombies, but 2002, I want to say, is 28 Days Later, and I feel like that's really the intro to Fast Zombies for a lot of people. And then Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead remake is Fast Zombies also, and then that's kind of just became the default movie type of zombie.
I
Um,
forgot about Dawn of the Dead. Yeah. No, I take that back. I don't mind fast zombies because I thought those two were pretty good.
yeah. In 28 Days Later, they're just really mad. They get infected with rage, and it gives them like, it pumps up their adrenaline to a crazy amount, or whatever it is, and so like that's why they're fast. Um,
I do like
uh,
a twist in this movie that they can't see in the dark.
yeah, that was a fun bit when it's like, oh man, our boys are in a real bad shape here. How are they going to get out of this one? It's like, oh, they go
It's
through a
fun.
tunnel and they just kind of they turn off.
Yeah. Which I don't know. That was kind of weird. It's sort of like we need a way for them to escape this
Yeah,
washroom on the train. So how are we going to do it?
yeah, and part of it was like, oh, their eyes get really white and cloudy, and then it's like, oh, maybe they're just blind, and like or like almost like a blind to the extent of like legally blind. And when it's like a little dimmer, they can't make out the shapes or whatever. But
Oh,
if
really?
it's lit, but but that's not really how it worked, because there were times when people weren't moving or making noise, that like they were just in the eye line of a zombie and they all start
Yeah.
chasing them or whatever.
They just turn
Um,
around and the zombie, or the zombies
right.
just turn around and run after that.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely they use noise a lot too for location, but it doesn't seem to be the only thing they can use.
Also, too, while watching this film, I thought to myself, wouldn't it be nice to ride the MBTA with these nice, clean, fast,
Oh my
on time
god.
streets?
And yeah, you can imagine like if the COO of the company of well, I don't know, I guess of the MBT somewhere on a train like radioing the conductor and be like full speed, don't stop, and he's like,
Yeah,
okay, all 3 miles per hour on the Green Line
yeah.
extension you'll be paid $2
We're
billion for.
getting away.
Old ladies are walking faster than you on the street, as on the brand new Green Line extension that they built.
Yeah,
Very specific Boston reference, but that's okay. So some leading questions. We've been doing a pretty good job on the podcast lately of not just being like, and then this happens, and then that's definitely a trap you can fall into with something like this, which is essentially an action movie. Really, it's I don't know, it's more thrilling, I would say, than scary. I don't know if that tracks for you.
I don't. It wasn't scary at all. It was just nonstop action, like almost
Yeah,
like
it's
to
an
the
action
point of
movie.
like too much action.
It does what I think a lot of good action movies do, and I mention this on the podcast pretty often, as recently as last episode, because Rec does this too. But it's very gamey, and not just video gamey, although both Rec, people trying to get up a floor at a time eventually, and this, people trying to go from car to car like they're clearing levels. You can look at it as very video gamey, but gamey in the sense of like, you know, the boundaries of the playing fields, and you know the rules, or you gather the information and you learn the rules as you're going, and you know there's specific players, so to speak, that you're checking in with, and you know everyone has very clear stakes at all times, and you know what people are trying to accomplish, and you know some of the background of what people have going on, and that does matter, and this does try to weave in some drama and family stuff, and there's a lot of stuff about parenthood, specifically fatherhood, in this also. But at the end of the day, like, yeah, it's kind of, yeah, I mean, you mentioned Resident Evil, and you know there's Resident Evil movies that are also kind of like this, but Resident Evil, I mean, yeah, it's a video game, right?
No, you're 1,000% right. I even turned to my girlfriend as we were watching this, and I said, this is just like I feel like I'm playing Resident Evil while watching this.
Yep.
Resident Evil meets Dead Rising because of all the, when the zombies and they like pile up and then they all spill over each other in like
Yes.
this monstrosity pile. I'm like, this is exactly that, a video game. And even
Yeah.
when the three characters, they sort of like, oh, here we go. Now they're going to put on armor. One guy's got a bat,
Yeah.
one guy's got a shield
Yeah.
and a
Yeah.
baton.
They're picking their loadouts. Yeah.
Exactly.
That part's
You
awesome.
have the tank, the medic, and the support, the wizard as a support.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think I've seen a lot of these people before, but we have seen at least one before. The younger guy, the high schooler who has that bat originally, when in that scene, the younger dude of those three was in Parasite also. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's where
is
yes,
the son. You know, the rich people call him Kevin.
yeah.
And yeah, that guy's good. He's good.
And the husband of the pregnant woman, he's in Eternals.
Yes.
He's
Yes.
Gilbert. I'm looking at him and I'm like, I've seen this guy somewhere. I just don't remember where. I've never seen the Eternals, but I've seen obviously previews for it. I'm like, oh, that's where he's from.
Okay, thank you. That was bothering me.
Uh,
That guy rocks. I like him a lot.
oh, he was awesome. He was my favorite character in this film.
Yeah, yeah. He's good in the Eternals too. He's
I've
the
never.
I believe he's the one that's hanging out with Angelina Jolie, who is like so bizarrely, you know, like sixth or seventh build in the Eternals movie. You're like, it's really weird that Angelina Jolie has so much less screen time than these other people who are not Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. But that dude's really good in it. He's also really good in this movie. I like him a lot. He's got that like athletic cut blazer on for a while. It's just
Yeah,
good, solid look. Dude's built like a tank.
he's a good foil too to the main character. Um,
Yeah, he hates that guy.
it's like,
So
hey asshole, your daughter, are you grateful?
yeah, he just like doesn't even look at him.
Right.
There's a couple times this month because we've done two other South Korean movies, especially the first one, the host, the Bong Joon-ho one, which has so much sort of satire. And it's like, man, it would have been interesting to have my friend Corey, who was on the whaling episode, who lived in Korea for a couple years, around to be like, oh, here's what this means. Here's like the cultural implications of this symbolism or whatever. But like, oh no, you get people. It's a pretty universal thing. This guy is like a finance guy, and everyone's like, "Fuck this guy."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think
Even his daughter's like, "Oh, I get it."
I think it's a Korean attempt to do the same thing that some of our movies around this time frame do here, a critique on sort of the corporation and corporate culture as, coming out of the recession of '09 or whatever, and they're just making these record
Sure.
profits. You know what I mean? That's why that other character is, treats him like he calls him an asshole and a jerk, and
Yeah.
he's a bloodsucker. He doesn't care about any of us or anybody else. Yeah, yeah. So that's
Yeah.
I think it's like maybe a little amplified in Korean
Yeah.
culture. I'm not sure.
Yeah. That's totally fair. I wouldn't know. But we're not talking too much about the plot. And like I said, I don't think we have to. But the setup happens. I mentioned the birthday stuff in the 1 minute plot summary, but like they're on that train and there's a zombie on that train by what, minute 15, 16, something like that.
Yeah, right off the bat.
Yeah. So you're not waiting around for the zombie apocalypse here.
And to your point too, it's also much like many video games. It's also very linear. You're literally on the
Yep.
train. You go one compartment to the next to try to survive. And even when they get off the train in the middle, when they stop at that Daejeong station,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, back on the train because everybody here is infected," and it's like, "Oh, now we're separated by different cars, so we got to work your way through each car to get back to the safe car."
The one thing about titling the movie, Train to Busan, um, when they get off the train at like minute 45, you're like, they're getting back on this train. There's not going to be any safety
They
here.
were-
But I still thought that sequence was really effective. We should run down. Okay, so mentioned the dad and the daughter. The daughter is what, like 10, 11, something like that?
yeah, about that maybe
Yeah,
10. Yeah,
maybe 10. Maybe even a little younger. I'm bad with ages. I can't do whatever.
yeah. Who knows? We don't have kids.
Kid ages like between 4 and 11. I just guess it's somewhere in there.
Yeah,
There's also basically the core cast eventually becomes the two high schoolers, a guy and a girl. That we mentioned the guy who's in Eternals and his pregnant wife. They named that their fetus has a nickname, Sleepy. Sure. Um, and there's also someone who I think is only credited as homeless man.
he's the pig farmer from the beginning,
Yeah.
right? That's the same guy, right?
I didn't pick up on that. It could be.
Yeah, I was looking at him like this is the same guy. He has the because he's driving the pigs into the city and they quarantine him and he's like, what are we doing? What's this for? And he said, no, they gave him that excuse about a chemical outbreak, and he said, if you bury my pigs again, I'll go mad. Was that like a reference to like mad cow disease or like I don't
I
know?
think I think he's just angry about it.
Yeah, but
And then yeah, and then that's like the cold open is he hits a deer and it dies, and then it gets up again because it's a zombie deer.
right. And then when we see him on the train, they're like, "Oh, this weird guy's on the train. Can you check it out?" And he's saying everyone's dead because I think it's the same guy with just he looks like
Yeah,
homeless and ragged, but I'm pretty
he's
sure
just
that was
seen some shit at this point.
yeah.
Yeah, and those are the main people in sort of like the hero group. Then there's also the conductor of the train, who's basically say he's up in the conductor's compartment. Um, but brave, he does what has to do. Eventually, has to sacrifice himself. Um, I mean, spoiler alert! All these movies, like we're gonna spoil it. It's a
Yeah.
zombie movie. A lot of people don't make it out.
Yep.
There's the evil businessman. who is the COO of, he mentions like the company, and is that the train company that's on the train that would they own, or is that just like a important company or something is
No,
the
it's
implication?
unclear. It's on because if you
It's
look at the
unclear,
train,
yeah.
it says KO Rail. It doesn't say
Yeah,
the name of the company that he said it was. I forget what he said, but
yeah,
I'm like, I don't get it. Does he own this train? Does he not own the train? Because even when he tells the guy, let's get this train rolling, nobody does anything.
yeah. I feel like for me, with the implication was just like, oh, this is an important guy, and he just is ordering people around, and they're listening,
Right.
more or less. There's the I don't know what you call. I'm trying to remember what they were called in Orient Express, but the guy who like works there but isn't the conductor.
We'll call him a train attendant, concierge.
Yeah, yeah, that works. Um, and he's like another kind of main-ish character, or at least a
Yeah.
guy who gets like sort of a quandary and chooses poorly.
Well,
Because
he
he's
chooses.
hanging out with that guy who just like keeps killing people instead of just like taking trying to find an easy way out.
Well,
His
to
first
be fair,
option is always just throw a person at a group of zombies and then try and outrun them.
that is the first rule in a zombie apocalypse is to throw somebody else at the zombies and run away.
Yeah, he does it so many times.
Yeah, so I can't fault him too much for playing by the rules.
That's true. And I don't know. I like the cast. They're all good. You don't get a lot of like, pathos, but there's enough there. I think the little kid's good. I've said pretty much every episode this month, there's been a really good kid actor in it. And it's tough because this particular little kid has to play, even before the zombie apocalypse happens, they have to play kind of sad and pouty, and then they have to play just like really scared or really distraught for the whole
Yeah,
movie, pretty much. And
yeah.
it doesn't come across as like, nails on a chalkboard. So, credit to them.
And her mom's dead, right?
Yeah.
There's no chance.
There's no chance. Although the mom was in Busan, right?
Right. So I'm confused. It's still unsure if the mom is dead or not.
Yeah. You don't really know what happens to them either. There's just like, so we should say again, so they're going to spoil this. The only two people that get to the end is the pregnant woman and the little girl. And they've sort of been through a lot today at this point. So they're kind of like, they have something like a bond anyway. And they're coming through a tunnel to a military checkpoint. The business guy, the father, had been told that that would be safe, that it's seems like the primary defenses in Busan have held up. The military doesn't shoot them. They're like, oh, we have two survivors, and the military runs into the tunnel, and the movie ends. So you
Right.
don't know what happens to them, really.
We also don't know her baby's name because when the husband sacrifices himself, he said, "Oh, I got the baby's name." Dead.
Yeah.
That was very sad. That was the saddest part of the movie.
Doesn't he say its name? Doesn't he say like he says like a name and then he's like that's the baby's name and then he dies? That's how I took it. Or was that the lady's name he was saying?
No, well, if he said the name, it didn't say it in the subtitles.
Oh, okay.
So I might have missed it. I thought he didn't say it. I thought he was gonna say it, and as he closed the door broke. Then he got eaten. He wasn't able to say it, but I might have
Yeah.
missed that.
Yeah, I saw it the other way, but like I also don't speak Korean, so I could be very wrong.
Right. True.
um, so they're going. It's a zombie movie, so you know that the real enemy is going to be other people at a certain point, and they don't get too much into like social commentary in this, unless it's subtle Korean specific references that I'm not getting, which is 100% possible. But they get to what is sort of marked as the safe car. This is where the evil guy and the train attendant and the younger girl, the high schooler, is waiting for the guy from Parasite. And
And the
uh,
sister and her sister, the old lady and her
yes,
sister.
yes. Oh, you're right. There's also two elderly sisters that got separated. Um, and we mentioned before that the three guys come and rescue their loved ones, and one of the elderly sisters is with this group also. So once they rescue them, it's what, six or seven of them make their way to this quiet car, or well, the safe car, and the people in there don't let them in. So they have to break down the door, and they're all mad at them. And then just because of fear and distrust, the people that are in that car make them leave, and they go forward into the next vestibule. And the second you see that everyone in that car is like barricading the door and tying it closed with all their neckties, you're like, oh, okay. The zombies are about to break into their car and they're not going to be able to get out.
The worst character in the whole film, even worse than that, the old
Yeah.
corrupt official is the sister, one of the sisters, the other old lady, because she's like,
You think?
yeah, she's like kind of heartbroken, but she's like, none of this matters anyway. And she even in her her like not diatribe, but monologue about how her sister was an idiot for always trying to help other people. She basically said, "You're an idiot. Why'd you try to help everybody? You're dead. So now because you're dead and because you're an idiot, I'm gonna kill everybody else." And she opens the door and then kills everyone.
Well, I think she's saying that part out of anger, but then she's crying and says like, "Thank you for everything." And then she also is sort of like under her breath castigating all the people who kicked everyone out. And I think it's more like these people deserve to die, and so fuck this. Either way, not a chill move.
Oh yeah, yeah. But just she should have just offed herself. Sacrifice yourself for the zombies. And
Not
maybe
a
the
chill move.
yeah,
Especially after that guy from Eternals, like, he did so much to just like get that other group into the safe car.
exactly. And not only that, you put everybody else that you put the group, our hero group, in
Yeah.
danger as well, right? So your her sentiment is wrong.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
also the most obvious part of the movie because I called it maybe 5 minutes before that happened. I'm like, oh, this lady's gonna open the door. And
Yep.
lo and behold, she opened the door.
She opened the door. Yeah. And so then our heroes had gone through into the vestibule between the next car and the one that was safe. The people in the safe car had sort of frosted the glass because they noticed that the zombies don't attack them if they can't see them. They can also be, like we said, activated by sound a little bit. But if they don't see you, they just don't basically do anything unless they could have made like a really loud noise. But they're on a really fast train, so it's probably a lot of sort of gray noise kind of stuff going on.
Yeah, there's a
Um,
lot of noise from the tracks.
100%. So they're in there and they are going for a while, but then they have to stop. Not yet at Busan because of the track blockage. And I know we said we weren't going to do like too much plotty stuff, but the sequence we just talked about, and then this sequence, I thought were kind of standout. Um, it felt very a couple moments there when they're under the train and like the glass is breaking and stuff. It felt very Spielberg, very
Yeah,
Jurassic Park with the seeing all the hands on the glass and
yeah.
you know it's
It,
sort of like budging down on them and them trying to crawl out from under it felt very the suit the what is it? It's like a Ford Escape, I think, in the tree. Well,
yeah, yeah. Or is it a four escape Jeep Wrangler? I don't know,
Jeep
something like
Wrangler. Yeah, I think it's a Jeep Wrangler, right?
no, yeah, the setting up to get when they get trapped under the train, it's
Yep.
because the flaming train coming at them,
Yeah. And
which
it sort of just like comes out of nowhere. Like even the conductor is like, I don't know what the fuck that is. What
yeah,
what is
it's
that?
going the wrong way on the wrong track. How did he right? How did that even get there in the first place?
Yeah.
But
Who
the conductor,
knows?
he's like, "Oh crap, I can't take this train. I got to go to the next train." Doesn't tell anybody.
Nope. I think
Just
he assumed like once people saw the train in motion, they would just like book it to that train. And that did work out pretty much.
yeah, no, you're right. You're right because he does say like, "Make your way over to the third track," and
Yeah.
God's yeah,
He does what he can. He doesn't know if anyone's still alive, but he still makes the PA announcement like, "Hey, I'm going to get out there and try and find another train. Make your way to the far left and
yeah,
we'll try and
you're
make it
right.
work."
I give him credit.
And the people who are alive at that point, about half of them do make it to that train.
But we and the evil guy and his the train attendant
Yeah.
they hide in the bathroom.
You don't know that they had been hiding, I guess,
Right.
when the others got all eaten because you're only seeing like sort of the aftermath through the fogged glass. And
The frosted
I think
glass. Yeah,
they show like a that's I think the one time that they do a sort of slow motion kind of indulgent slow panning shot of all the zombies killing all the people in that, and it looks really cool. I liked it. Um but yeah, that guy, I don't know how he didn't see this coming, but he gets pushed into a bunch of zombies so the
Yeah,
old guy can escape.
the coast is clear. Is it? Okay, cool. Because you've never let us wrong up to this point.
Yep.
Then he peeks his head out, he gets thrown to the zombies, and then he makes the run for it.
Yeah. And I mean, he's old, but he does make it to the other train.
Yeah, but I thought he broke his ankle.
It looked like he broke his ankle a little bit, and then there's a moment that I thought was unclear, and it turns out that was on purpose, and I like appreciated it, where the zombies sort of fall on him and the conductor at the same time, and you hear like a crunching thing, but you don't actually see what's being chomped on right then.
Yeah,
And then they all attack the conductor, and you're like, oh, maybe I guess it was just the conductor because the old guy gets up and runs onto the train.
right.
But our heroes eventually make it there too. At this point, it's just the dad, the daughter, and the pregnant lady, the homeless man. That's how he's again. That's on Wikipedia. That's what it says his character's name is. If he had a name, I'd be calling him that. Um, he sort of sacrifices himself to buy people enough time to crawl out from under the falling train.
Yep.
And this is one of the times that the zombies make like you know, just sort of a kind of a World War Z style pyramid thing
Yes, yeah.
as they're all trying to get onto the train.
Yep. Yeah, just it's just like 1,000 zombies piled on top of each other as they
Yeah,
try to get onto the new train. Yep.
yeah, yeah. And this sequence is great. I think the whole thing, it's all there's a lot of really good set pieces and stuff. But yes, the old guy, he got infected. The incubation period for this whole turning zombie thing is wildly different for everyone because this guy's, I don't know, 5 minutes at
Yeah.
least. Some people are immediate.
Yep.
Oh, and he also gets the younger girl bitten, and our boy from Parasite is so distraught that he doesn't even like try and run from her. He just kind of hangs
Yeah.
out until she bites him.
That was a good part too, 'cause I thought that was, one of the more suspenseful, unsuspected parts. I thought they were really gonna make it.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, okay, who's not gonna make it? Who could make it? And there's like, it's like you can't kill the kid, right? And there's a couple times that they like almost fake towards it, but like she's never really in harm's way more than like twice, kinda. Like
Yeah,
directly, there's a zombie running at her
right.
and is about to bite her, and maybe
But that
once or twice.
also the dad was gonna die, there was no doubt about that.
Yep,
From
100%.
2 seconds of the film.
Especially once you found out it was his company and maybe the guy thought it was their fault. But you know, once that happened, you're like, oh, okay, this guy's got to sacrifice himself.
Yeah. No, and do you think no, well, go ahead, keep going, I'll go back to that point.
Well, I was just on the sacrificing himself point. There is like kind of a final battle between the older evil guy and the dad. And the way it ends is he kind of lets the guy bite him on the hand so he can kind of like tie himself off and then using both of their body weights jump off, and the other guy obviously isn't tied to anything so he goes off the train, um but he lets himself get bit for that to happen.
Oh, you think that he did that on purpose?
Uh,
You don't think he just maybe grabbed his, because he's trying to get him off his daughter and the pregnant
yeah,
lady, and he sort of just grabs his head by accident?
yeah, I think you see I it's not conclusive. I like
No,
the idea that he did it on purpose, but it is sort of just a scramble. He kind of just grabs him. You're not wrong.
yeah, but now that you mention that, I didn't look at it that way when I watched it, but I think that your, explanation makes more sense.
I think he maybe didn't do that part on purpose, but he definitely like once the guy's biting him, he's like, okay, I know what to do now. Like here's step, here's the next step.
Right.
Um,
Yep, yep.
and it was also, I think he was in the mindset of just like, I gotta do whatever to get away. So he wasn't worrying about like going near the dude's mouth. He was more worrying about like getting the other people safe.
Yeah.
So maybe like unintentionally kind of doing that on purpose. And then he does like set them up in the cabin and is like, okay, I gotta jump off the train now.
But just before that, the part one of the scenes I really liked is when he, the old rich corporation guy's like, "Oh, I'm so sick. You got to
Yeah.
help me. I want to go see my mom."
My
And
mom's
he's like,
waiting for
"Sorry."
me. Here's her address. Yeah.
Yeah, but then our main protagonist there says, "Sorry, you're infected."
Yeah. And
Which
that guy's
because
turning, but still has like enough awareness to like look down at his hands and be like, "Oh no."
yeah, but because before on the train, when he tried to keep lock the door, the rich corporation guy, the CEO tried to lock the door on our stock trader guy.
Yeah.
Tried to get he got the whole train to turn against him to say, "Look, this guy's infected. You can tell by his eyes. We got to keep him out." That's when they made him go to that separate car and created this whole disaster.
Yep.
So
Oh,
he gets to
by the
flip
way,
it.
we were both right. As I both iconic Ford Escapes and Jeep Wranglers and Jurassic Park.
Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So there you go. Sorry, I just wanted to close that circle.
No, I mean, I was thinking like, was Ford Escape out then? But maybe it was.
Yeah. That's post OJ, right? So that's why it's an Escape, not a Bronco.
Oh yeah.
Which renaming it to Escape is funny in that context. Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much it. We already mentioned the ending. They're coming through the tunnel. The girl's singing Aloha, and that's how they don't get shot because
Yeah.
they can only see silhouettes. They're both pretty beat up,
And
and
zombies
I
can't talk.
mean, yeah. So it's like, God, they're not walking like very smoothly, but they're also walking on train tracks after being attacked all day.
Yeah.
So like, you wouldn't have the best, smoothest, most humany locomotion at that point either. And yeah, but she's singing that Aloha song that she could not get through before because she was singing it for her dad.
Yep. Oh yeah. That part was totally missed by me. I don't know
Yep.
why I didn't put the two together.
Yep. But now her dad, I guess she has the confidence to sing it all the way through, or
Yep.
his sacrifices inspired her or whatever. And, you know, yeah, but
He-
that guy jumped off the train. So he's going,
Yeah, right. Yeah. But that was a sad part. Like when you just see him sort of fall off the train. He still knew that it's right before he completely turned, so he knew what he was doing.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Much like the older, rich, evil guy, he has his eyes go white, but he still has some awareness for a little
Right.
bit.
Right.
So he thinks about the birth of his daughter and smiles and, you know,
Jump.
throws himself off the train.
Yeah. Well, it's a story of redemption. He
Yes.
redeems him.
Yeah, and it's like, I do really like that it's sort of just and that's it. That's all you get. No epilogue. I think I prefer that.
But did they make a sequel? Who's in the sequel?
So, I mean, yeah, that's the other part of it. They in the same year, I guess, rushed out an animated prequel in 2016, and there's a standalone sequel from 2020, marketed internationally as Train to Busan presents Peninsula.
Oh,
Okay.
right.
Co-written and directed by the same director.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that.
Huh. Doesn't seem to be the same cast at all.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know that this film spurred like a whole zombie apocalypse Train to Busan
Yeah.
franchise. Yeah.
The
Isn't it more than
sequel only
just
has a 55 on Rotten Tomatoes, so
yeah, that's terrible. That's what
yeah.
happens when you rush a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sequels are never good, except Empire Strikes Back, the twin what's the second Lord of the Rings?
Twin Two Towers, not Twin Towers.
Yeah, Two Towers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze.
What's your face? So we already talked fast versus slow zombies, but if you have to do one kind of creature, monster, specific horror kind of character or whatever, what's your favorite type of movie monster? We did vampires, zombies, monster movie kind of kaiju type stuff with the host this month already. And whatever you'd call the wailing, there's possession in that and some religious type stuff and also just some random shit that happens. That's weird.
Yeah. No, I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough question. I
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with
You can do werewolves, vampires, any of those people. Frankensteins. plural.
I'm gonna go. That's a great. I'm gonna go. You gave me a great idea. Werewolves, because Teen Wolf and Michael Jackson's Thriller are two excellent examples of werewolves.
I mean, yeah, and people you wouldn't think it if you don't think about it too hard, but that's a lot of range within werewolves.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm not a huge fan of super scary movies, so I feel like a lot of the Dracula movies are very scary.
Yeah.
Um, Zombie movies, I think I can do without them for a little while. It's kind of overrated. Um,
Oh, but I like this one though.
yeah, no, I'm not saying that.
I
I like this film, yeah, but I think
yeah,
I mean, we were blitzed so hard with zombies for so long with
yeah.
Walking Dead, especially maybe in the States, that I think take a little break from zombies before revisiting the genre. And like growing up, Resident Evil 2 just ingrained in my brain.
I think that's fair. Um, werewolves is a good pick. The classic Wolfman, the Benicio del Toro Wolfman that I don't think anyone went to see, but that was like sometime in the last 10 years, I think. American Werewolf in London, really good shit.
Wolverine.
That counts. Logan also counts.
He's a werewolf, right? It's got to be close
I
enough.
go vampire. I've answered this question before, but I go vampires. I just like
Yeah,
them. I like
yeah.
them. I'm a romantic.
Oh no, wait. I can I change my? I might have to go Vampire too for the Blade series.
Yeah. Again, a lot of range. Give a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of range. And
and
all the rules. Greg mentioned this when we talked about Let the Right One In, but we like all the rules that vampires have. It's fun. All the lore.
that's true. That's true. Which is also very very like video gamey about
Yep.
the
I
rules and
count you.
yep.
um,
Blade. All
yeah.
right, I'm going vampires.
I don't have a lot of love for zombies, but I like this movie a lot and I like Wreck a lot. So good, get after it. I think Wreck is still on whatever I watched it on. I don't know if it was Prime for another couple days when this episode comes out. So definitely worth watching Wreck sometime early this week.
Yeah, I'll see if I can check it out. I like this movie a lot. I think it's first of all, I like foreign films. I always think foreign films do an excellent job, and it's nice to see different cultures take on sort of this, the same topics that we all have to deal with. And
Sure.
I just like I kind of like the linear fashion of this film,
Yep.
and how it's it's just very prescriptive and it follows a certain track. But that's also very nice about this film
Well,
and movies in general.
well said. I don't know if you did that on purpose, but it definitely follows a track.
I didn't, but for this episode, I did.
There you go. Yeah, I agree. I think especially your point about like there's obviously zombie movies in America. We keep talking about Resident Evil a lot. And there's just something interesting about seeing someone else's take on it because zombies are always been used as some kind of commentary or satire. I guess not all the time, but like, that's based in consumerism, right? Eventually with Dawn of the Dead's consumerism, I think. Night of the Living Dead is, I don't know, it's fucking old as shit. It's from the
Yeah,
50s.
you said the point earlier about the real villain, the real enemy in the zombie films is other humans, right? That's the
Yes.
case in every zombie movie, but um, it's just nice to see a different culture's take on it.
Yeah. I think it would be if there was like a good slow zombie movie, I'd be into it though. Because that's like the whole thing with zombies, and I don't feel like there's been an actual interesting slow zombie movie for a while. But whatever.
I think
I'd probably
I
just
really
prefer a vampire movie anyway.
I think that for if you combine sort of like film noir month
Yeah.
with a zombie film, I think you could get that. That's what you can get out of it, like a zombie crime mystery.
There you go.
Hercule Poirot solves a zombie murder.
I like it. Night of the Living Dead's in black and white. That kind of counts as noir.
That's true. That's true.
That
That
gets
might be
referenced in every fucking like every other horror movie has a reference to the guy saying they're coming to get you, Barbara.
yeah, right. Yeah.
That clips in Terrifier 2, it turns out.
But I don't. What's Terrifier 2?
It came out last year. It was sort of like this surprising thing because it's a sequel to a movie that wasn't like a huge deal or anything, but enough gore fans watched it. It's gory as heck. And Terrifier 2 is in theaters and stayed in theaters for a while just because of like word of mouth of it being this like extreme schlock, super gory movie, and people were like, "I gotta go see it in theaters." It became like a whole thing.
Oh, gotcha. I'll never see that.
No, I don't blame you. It is not for everyone. Don't think it's for me. um, but anyway, all that to say, there is. I already asked you a couple questions, but I have a specific to this month question. But let's close out our thoughts on Train to Busan first.
Okay.
Let's do well, unless you have anything else specific to hit on. Let's do ratings.
No, I just think that this film, and you mentioned this earlier too. It's a great action film. I was going to call it a mindless action film, but it's just a great action film. The action never stops. It keeps you hooked. It's very suspenseful. Makes you very anxious.
Yeah,
I thought it was very. I thought it was great. I thought it was a great film to watch, especially during spooky season. Excellent film.
yeah, I agree. And it's not. It does not really slow down that much ever. It's
No, at all.
keeps going.
Yep.
It's a really great action movie, I think. Um, let's get into ratings on a scale of 0.5 to 5 on any scale of your choosing aside from stars. What would you give 2016's Train to Busan?
So I give this film 4.5 Korean high school Letterman baseball jackets out of 5.
I wonder if I like just didn't notice at the time because I hadn't seen the movie all the way through yet, but like that had to have been a popular costume for a few Halloweens here or there,
Oh,
especially in Korea.
100. I bet you in 2017, every Korean high school kid went as that or those characters, especially if you played on a baseball team.
You had to have, yeah.
There's no way. It's like Stranger Things for us. Everybody was Dusty.
Yeah, 100%. I will go. What was your number rating?
4.5.
I realize sometimes I care more about the scale than what you actually like the other person actually gives it. Yeah, I
I
really
don't.
enjoyed this. I'm gonna go 4 unwanted Wii U's out of 5.
Nice. Yeah. What kid? First of all, dumb dad. Obviously, she has a Wii U. Every kid has a Wii U. But then that's a golden opportunity to turn that into profit. Just take that thing and resell it. Boom, done.
Yeah. I don't know if they were more popular in Korea, but yeah, I don't know if there was a market for resales of Wii U's here.
That, that's true.
um,
What's Child's Day? What's Children's Day? We don't. We got to get that holiday here.
I know, especially with just sort of like children in spirit, and you just have to give everyone gifts.
Yeah,
That'd be good.
exactly.
That'd be nice. Um, cool. So the question this month for spooky season, not related to non-English films, but just related to spooky season. Do you believe in the paranormal or supernatural, or have you ever had a run-in with it?
No,
No to both?
no to both. So
No.
I can give you a great example too.
Okay.
If we're obviously we're from the greatest city in southeastern Massachusetts.
That's right.
We're famous for one person, Lizzie Borden, famous axe murderer, and right before the 19th late 19th century, right? So if you go to her house,
Oh,
down,
allegedly, you don't want to get, the
oh,
estate to be suing the
no.
podcast.
Come at me. She did it. Everybody knows she did it. She did it with help, but she definitely did it. If you, have you ever taken a tour of her house?
Yes.
So in the basement, they take you on this great tour. It's really cool. They have a lot of cool history and facts about that day and whatnot. But on the wall, they tell you to take a picture in the basement there at like where I think it's probably like a bathroom or a
Okay.
toilet. I forgot what it's there, but it's like this indent in the wall. So if you take a picture of it with your digital camera, it's supposedly the face of Andrew Borden, right? Lizzie Borden's father, the guy Lizzie Borden took an X, et cetera, et cetera. There's,
Yeah.
but, and they're like, we didn't paint this. There's nothing there. We've had tests done, blah, blah, blah. There is zero chance that that's true. And like, so fact of the matter that all that stuff is just recreated, made up. I don't think, I ain't afraid of no ghosts. And I don't think there is such a thing, nor do I really believe in it.
Well, I mean, there you go.
I
I'm
don't,
glad that you had an example too, because otherwise it would have been a really short segment.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
It just
googling
no,
this face in
it's
the wall
recreate
now.
it. It's just lead paint or something behind sort of stonework. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Let's see.
What's your answer?
Well, okay, I guess I can see what people are saying. It's yeah, it's in the wall as like a chimney or something.
Yeah,
I think you need it. You gotta want it to
you
see
have
it.
to. You have to. Everybody's going there for one thing, and you're already there. You're already captivated. You're already in. It's the same reason why like mediums and psychics work. You're already a captive audience. So like you're already going there to see that. They're just implanting that in your brain.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. That's you're already in what's it called? Like a suggestion state, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not to say like do people believe in ghosts or the paranormal normal or spirits or do they have those type of experiences? Probably, and if they do, that's great, and very happy for you, and hopefully it's very successful. And it's not a bad ghost that haunts you; it's a nice, friendly ghost like Casper.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah.
You'd be set.
Yep. Just not for me.
Not for you. Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, I'm open to the idea, but I've never had a personal run. And you get vibes sometimes. I feel like I pick up on vibes sometimes, but nothing concrete.
Yeah.
It'd be, I think, where I've come down a couple times this month is saying like it would be more interesting if there was more stuff we didn't know about how the world worked. I guess.
Yeah. If the upside down is real, that would be cool. But I don't think we have
Yeah.
any evidence or proof of that.
No, and if anything came out, you just be like, well, sounds like bullshit. I mean, that's what's happening with all the UFO stuff. There's like, here's all these videos we've taken to UFOs, says the government. People are like, yeah, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
cool. I got my own shit going on, man. I don't have time to put mental energy into
Sure.
knowing that.
And if there is the upside down, it probably is some botched corporation in South Korea or the CIA or somebody that's doing something that effed some shit up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I would agree with that. That makes sense. All right. Well, I think just about does it for this episode for this month.
What
Not
do you
sure
got
what the
coming?
next episode or month is going to be. So I hope I figure it out soon.
Nice. What's November? How about I don't know. What's good for November? Oh,
Every November, I try and build out a month of Thanksgiving movies, and it turns out there just isn't that many. All right, cool. Let's end this episode, I think. Thanks for
yeah.
being on, Anthony. This was
Oh,
fun.
thanks for having me. And aloha means goodbye.
Oh, that's really good. You can find our stuff on Linktree, linktr.ee/late to the movies. And see you next month for oh god, I don't know. Turkey time. That'll be the theme. Who knows? Movies with
Excellent.
turkeys.
Happy Halloween.
They're gonna be all bowling movies.